In this week's episode, I want to talk about lo-fi compilation albums. Releasing your music on one of these albums can be a really beneficial way for up-and-coming producers to share the stage with more established artists. Everybody kind of share the wealth and promote the album together to hopefully create a larger opportunity for all artists and labels involved. So let's have a look at how you go about getting your music placed onto one of these compilations and a track that I produced that has recently been released on one. Let's jump into it. So before we look at the track, I just want to take a moment to talk about how you'd go about getting your music released on one of these albums, and it's something that I'm seeing a lot more of these smaller labels doing, and a good way to find out about these albums is to follow the labels that you like on social media or become a part of their Discord servers. If they don't have a Discord server, follow them on Instagram or TikTok. They'll generally be posting about the compilations there, but if they do have a Discord, that is the place to go. So if I just open up Discord here, so just opened up the Discord channel for Skyhop, which is a lo-fi label that only does compilation albums or compilation releases. You'll see here that they have a series of open compilations and closed compilations. We're going to look at this compilation called Dreammaker, as this is one that I have recently been a part of. Around the end of last year, they opened up this compilation for submissions, and they post all this information essentially about what they want. They're looking for something a little bit sleepy, something with kind of a dreamy vibe. They give you a deadline, they give you a planned release date, some cover art to give you some inspiration, and then they tell you exactly what they like. So really, if you have access to this kind of information, you can make a decision on whether you want to submit to this album. But essentially, the label are telling you what they're looking for. So if you can make a song in the style of the album they're looking for, you're going to give yourself a really good chance. It also gives us smaller producers an opportunity to know what the label's looking for, rather than just creating something from scratch and sending it off in the hopes that this is what they want. So I saw this around the end of last year, and I've been wanting to release with Skyhop for a little while, so I jumped at the chance. I opened up FL and I tried to write a song for the album. So just give you a little teaser for how the song sounds. This is the first kind of hook main section in the track to give you a real feeling for how the track sounds. So as you can hear, I really dialed in on kind of the warm, emotional, kind of sleepy vibe of the track that they were asking for, but I also tried to keep it in style with my brand of writing music. So I use a lot of my favorite plugins, a lot of the same sounds that I'm using in my music, and just tried to write something to cater towards what it was they were asking for. Now, I won't actually go into the breakdown of this beat too much because I have already broken down this beat when I first originally written it. I'll put a link to that video up here if you want to get into the real details of writing this beat, how I produced it. Let's just go over some of the key elements and what I was thinking when I was producing the track. I started just with a really simple chord pattern, and I wanted to leave a ton of space because we were going for something pretty sleepy with like a nice kind of warm, cozy vibe. Came up with these chords here. Then that plays again, and I just added a D on the higher octave for that final chord, leaving a ton of space for the rest of the melody to kind of fill in those pockets. But I'm also leaving myself space in the track because I don't want to fill all of the pockets. I'm just trying to make sure that every element has its own space, but also is leaving space. When you're listening to a sleepy track, what you really don't want it to be doing is being bombarded by different instruments and different sounds coming from all over the place. You want to have that space for your brain to kind of unwind instead of trying to absorb all these different sounds. I then added a drone. I know I'm working in a C major scale, so just a simple drone on a 1/5 of the scale. And then a really simple piano arp, just to kind of add a little bit of movement, a little bit of texture to this intro section. And then that playing with the drone. I also added some limiters to slowly fade these instruments in. So this is how the intro sounds. And then at this point, the main kind of focus of the beat comes in. So we're adding in some drums, some bass, and then 2 different guitar lines. These were played on the Flex Chill Guitar preset. Now this is a plugin that comes with FL Studio, and I tweaked it ever so slightly just to get the sound that I want, but it's the Flex Chill Guitar preset. And I've just got a EQ focusing in on the frequencies that I want, along with some reverb and some shimmer, to give both the guitars kind of a slightly different sound. So you've got the first guitar that sounds like this. And then the second guitar sounds more like this. And when you put them together, you get these nice guitars that play off each other. And then along with everything else that we've just introduced. Then for the next 4 bars, I started introducing some ambience. So I've got a bell sound that comes in. Some really kind of ambient tremolo sounds. And when you add those in, you get this really nice ambient, sleepy effect in the second half of the hook. And that's pretty much everything for the track. It is a sleepy track, so I really didn't want to overproduce this. I wanted to go for a really kind of warm, cozy feeling. I wanted to get that kind of sleepy nature in. I wanted to have a ton of space and feel almost like you could just sort of drift off going to sleep. That's the exact vibe that I was going for here, and I really wanted to meet the brief that was sent out by Skyhop. The last thing is I just added like a synth ARP into the bridge section here. And I just used that as sort of a transition sound from the hook to the bridge. You know, the main focus for me here was on the arrangement, working out how to get that intro with enough going on so that it doesn't get boring, but still interesting enough, but still with that kind of sleepy vibe. The main hook, how to, you know, it's really about how to fit the vibe. So once you created your track, how do you actually, you know, submit it? How do you actually get it to the label? Luckily, the guys over at Skyhop, they have a dedicated channel on their Discord server for submissions, and they asked specifically to send a SoundCloud private links. So all I had to do was mix the song, master the song, upload it to SoundCloud, and then send it off. The guys at Skyhop liked the track, and I'm super happy that we got to work together on this one. The track is called Missing Days and came out on Wednesday the 28th, so it's out now already. I will drop a link in the description so you can go and listen to the song and the whole compilation album. Now, the key takeaways I'd say for releasing on one of these albums is really to find out what it is the label want. Like, you can write a song and hope that it's going to fit their vibe, but if you'd like to release on one of these albums, try and understand what it is they're looking for. A lot of these Discord compilation channels will have reference tracks, so listen to the reference tracks. Try not to like just rip them off or try not to create something that sounds too similar, but it's definitely worth listening to the reference tracks to give yourself a bit of an idea of the vibe they're looking for. And then yeah, go do it in your style. I think it's always worth being true to your style. I try to always make things in my style, but maybe tweak it, or in this case, make something a little bit more sleepier than I would normally. Show the label this is who you are, but also that you're willing to compromise and sort of work on a track that's going to fit what they want as well. But I would say is to try and always do it in your style. Stay true to like what your vibe is. I think knowing your style is going to make your music way better. I hope you found this helpful. I think these compilations are a super interesting way for labels to be putting out loads of music, but also for producers to have an opportunity to sort of share the stage with each other. Yeah, get on as many Discords as you can. There's so many labels nowadays that are doing exactly this. A lot of the time they will tell you exactly what they're looking for. If you can hit that brief and they like the track, chances are then you can be able to release your song on a couple of these compilation albums. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. Peace.